人は小さい方が好きだ。小さい方が好きだ。小さい方が好きだ。小さい方が好きだ。小さい方が好きだ。どなたか斧を貸してください。
KamiKatsu is a pretty good anime that may be forgotten after its end. I mean, it doesn't have a massive team behind it like Oshinoko or the animation level of Demon Slayer. However, it has something quite unique. Some pretty funny scenes. KamiKatsu is about this dude who never had a chance to live a normal life, and in his final moments, he was tragically sacrificed by his own parents in the name of religion. If God really does exist, his final wish was to be reborn in a world free from gods and religious constraints. His wish was granted, and now he lives in a small village where he has a normal life, friends and a job, a place where he can finally live the way he wants to. However, that quickly ends as he realized that this world wasn't as normal as he thought. Thanks to his original wish, certain things were completely forbidden, including all forms of sexual expression or the idea of music, as all of these things could influence people in some sort of way. In this world, everyone was born artificially. Everyone had to do what the government said. No emotions, no thoughts. Moreover, they weren't allowed to die naturally, as there was a system in place where people had to end their lives when the country ordered it, and anyone that tried to break out from this was placed into an isolation camp. The place our main character woke up at was a camp like that, filled with rejects. While initially the system scared him, at the end he didn't care that much about it because, well, who gives a shit about random people dying? It's not like his friends are the next ones to... Oh shit. He tries to save his friends, but they all got brutally murdered. Wait, what is that? They all got saved by the lollygod, and this is the point where the anime is supposed to get interesting. We have a world where religion and the concept of God doesn't exist, and there is a god that followed the main character from his past life, and 4 god candidates called Archons who all try to establish their own religion in their own way. It has the potential to be a deep, thought-provoking anime filled with fight scenes between these gods. But instead, it turns out to be a literal shitpost, with scenes like fighting with a sex toy or a gender-bent knight being humiliated every episode. It was quite obvious what kind of anime this is going to be, considering that the first scene after our main character got reincarnated was him receiving a handjob to wake up. The anime constantly does this. It's filled with some of the weirdest yet funniest scene I've seen in a long time. It also features some of the worst looking CGI you've ever seen, yet manages to have some of the best looking scenes at the same time. Every single character is voiced by a nastier voice actor, filled with a bunch of people behind the scenes that worked on animes like Konosuba. This is KamiKatsu. It's so hard to explain if it's good or not. Generally, I tend to dislike so-called bad animes, but KamiKatsu is exceptionally over the top and bizarre that I just couldn't stop watching it. It's filled with such unique and weird characters, and its fast-paced storytelling manages to cram so much bullshit into each episode, making it far more entertaining than one would expect. For instance, in terms of characters, we have a guy who is excessively horny. A girl who was willing to amputate her boobs because she mistakenly believed that our main character preferred flat-chested girls. A character addicted to booze, a gender-bent knight, a lolly god, the 4 Archons, and Yukito, our main character who appears to be the only one considered normal, kinda. Now but for real though, the characters in KamiKatsu may seem simple at first glance, each fitting into a certain trope, but in reality they are exceptionally well written. The anime is filled with numerous stupid moments, therefore when it takes a pause from the chaos and delves into a character, providing a deeper exploration, it becomes even more remarkable. For example, one of the Archons, Dakini, is initially presented as a character who gathers followers through sexual activities. Therefore, when the anime transitions into a more serious mood involving Dakini, it creates a sudden shift in emotions, leaving you uncertain about how to feel. It's weird, it's absurd. One moment it's a full-on comedy, and in the next it delves into a serious discussion about the Emperor's desire to eradicate all aspects of love and how the world shifted and turned everyone into literal emotionless robots. Suddenly, her goal becomes clear to us, no matter how bizarre her actions seemed. The anime constantly reveals these deeper layers amidst the comedy, creating a perfect contrast that adds actual depth to the show. It even executes a move similar to Attack on Titan, questioning the role of our main character as the protagonist. It does this by introducing another character who is considered an antagonist, but acts in a similar manipulative manner for his own personal gain. Certain moments delve into such depths, only to be followed by the most brain-dead type of clip after it, making you forget anything good this anime had to offer. Just to give you an idea of the overall weirdness of this anime, let me explain a few of my favorite moments. You don't need any sort of context for them, it doesn't make it less confusing. This episode begins with Yukito capturing Dakini and pressuring her to instruct her followers to worship his god. Obviously she doesn't want to. Therefore, they came up with this brilliant idea of making a pig out of him? To convince Dakini that he wouldn't interfere with her anymore. Like, it actually makes sense, but who came up with this idea? The anime constantly does this. It has a certain problem that could be easily solvable, yet for some reason, they have to write the weirdest shit ever. The final episode was really good in that aspect, by just shoving every weird thing into a single episode that became a constant joke throughout the anime, including the awful fight against the CGI monsters with the power of friendship. Fan service that constantly went way too far, and numerous other things that I bet you want to see. Overall, it's a surprisingly good anime that isn't supposed to be good. It sometimes looks atrocious. Certain moments just aren't animated at all. The story is really good, but at the same time it's filled with random weird things, yet you just can't stop watching it. And now that every single anime is done from this season, I can unironically say that this was my favorite anime of this season. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear about an anime that was the complete opposite of this, then click on this video. Goodbye!